Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and these are some of the top stories we have for you tonight. A robbery victim is shot on St. Croix. Good news from the CEO of Juan Luis Hospital. And a St. Croix radio station fights the deadly LEAC with a huge fundraiser. These stories and more up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, the Juan Luis Hospital is struggling just like the rest of us in these hard economic times. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this story with CEO of Juan Luis Hospital, Jeff Nelson.
Thank you very much, Jerome. We're at Juan Luis Hospital. I'm here with CEO Jeff Nelson, and we're going to get right to it. Jeff, some things are happening here at Juan Luis Hospital, and hopefully most of them positive. I'd like to start off with the dialysis unit. I understand that we have some progress being made with the dialysis unit and the machines and so forth. So perhaps we can get started with that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having us. Incredible news, absolutely impressive news, awesome news is that our dialysis unit, which a year ago or so was in trouble with CMS, Medicare, who does the survey, saying our quality wasn't high, but has come back now as of Monday, said we are great. We're in the 95th percentile or better than anybody else in the country. What that means for the patients is they get great care. They've known they've gotten great care over the, but now it's affirmed, and we're making even better care along the line. We're happy.
Well, that is good news, and I have to tell you, I've been a patient here several times. I am a kidney patient, polycystic kidneys, and that is good, yes, inoperable, and that is good news for people like me. We really appreciate that, the public, and we know that you are the only game in town, and we can't imagine St. Croix without Juan Luis Hospital.
Well, our focus, our audacious goal, that's that really big goal is to be the most trusted patient family-centered health system in the Caribbean by 2020. It's only a few years away, but every single day, all of our team members, whether they're the maintenance, the housekeeping, the dietary, the nurses, the technicians, the staff, the physicians, all focused on that one goal, is to make sure that we give great care, improved care every day to our patients and their families.
All right, let's get back to this and focus on you. You are the only game in town. What do you need? What can the people do tonight as they call their senators, their commissioners, or possibly government house? We've seen some of the articles in the newspaper. You need. What would you like the public to know this evening?
The hospital is a great hospital. It needs capital, though, to continue to go on to the audacious goal. We are not have enough capital to pay our debts in the past. Going forward, though, we can pay our debts. We are growing on a growth mode, but we need capital. The Senate and the governor have seen fit to help us with regard in their most recent session to see us relieve some of the debt that we have. However, we still owe a lot of money to people that we weren't able to pay in the recent years. And so capital is the issue that we're trying to work on. And that means that either the territory has to have that capital injected in here, or we need to look at other alternatives. If we're not able to get more money from the territory or other alternatives, then we're going to have to resize the organization. Resize the organization means that we have to do more with less services and less people, and that's what people don't want. They want us to continue to grow and to be more service. And so we have to find a way to solve this capital problem.
CEO of Juan Luis Hospital, Jeff Nelson, thank you very much. Here at Juan Luis Hospital, please do what you can one way or the other and have patience, okay? Because this is the only game in town. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
And we want to thank CEO of Juan Luis Hospital, Jeff Nelson, for that interview tonight. And in other news, a man was shot early this morning in a robbery at the Cruisin' Wing restaurant on St. Croix. Here's Wes with the details.
Thank you very much, Jerome. Violence on St. Croix once again. We are here at Cruisin' Wings, which is on Queen Mary Highway, Centerline Road here, right next to this gas station here. And what we have is apparently two suspects coming in as the owner or the manager or worker was closing this establishment around 1 o'clock in the morning. The place is not open now, as you could see, Right now, I'm going to go to Melody Rames, VIPD spokesperson.
Police on St. Croix are investigating the non-fatal shooting of a male victim. The victim was later treated for a gunshot wound in his leg. The suspects are still being sought. Police were dispatched to investigate a gunshot victim at Crucian Wings at Estate Mountain. When they arrived, they observed the victim with at least one gunshot to his lower left leg. The victim told police that he just finished locking up the business and went to the north side of the building. He saw two males on that side of the building. One attempted to punch him and he began to run. He heard gunshots and then realized that he was shot. The victim said the suspects had on dark clothing. The Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives are following up on this case. And if you know anything about this robbery, you are asked to call detectives at 712-6077, 712-6037, or you can call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Thank you very much, Melody Rames. Now, word is possibly these two suspects wearing dark clothing could have escaped into the bushes. There's bushes across the street, and in the surrounding area, we believe they could have gone in a vehicle. Please call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, or you could call 911. Now, like I said, the owner was closing up. Look at this. After 1 o'clock, if you have small children or you're squeamish, please use discretion. We understand that he fought back. And look here. This is where the blood is here. He got shot once in his leg. You could see that's a serious amount of blood. And also, look at the door here. We believe this guy was probably fighting for his life because it looks like to me that this area could be ransacked. It is closed down now. We haven't had a chance to talk to the owners. I went next door to the gas station, and they closed several hours before 1 o'clock. They closed like early, around 9:30 or 10. So they didn't even know anything about this. So this could have been a brutal assault, as you could see from the blood. And look at the, I could maybe say that this could have come from the attack itself. This guy is lucky to be alive. If you know anything, again, call 911 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. At Crucian Wings, unfortunately, we have the proprietor or the worker getting shot, but he will survive shot at least once in his leg. You can see he was involved in a serious struggle. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes. And the recent situation of the accusations against Senator Chucky Hansen is still a red-hot issue. We now take you back to the St. Croix Board of Elections for some more highlights from yesterday's hearing.
If it goes to the district court, we're sending it to the sentencing judge, the judge who sentenced Senator Hansen to whatever term, because he's the one who dealt with the case. He's the one who's going to look at moral turpitude, which is a changing phenomenon.
Right.
The case that, remember, Brian is talking about, I'm intimately familiar with because I was involved in that case. It was my husband, and it was a different set of facts because he was convicted of a felony. So that's one distinction. Another distinction, if you're talking about law, and I hate this gray area where I'm talking about law one minute and I'm a member of the board the other, but again, I can't I can't sit here and have stuff that's not correct go on record. And that is one at a time. And that is with respect to legal precedent. With respect to legal precedent is different from one jurisdiction to the other.
Thanks, Wes. And an interview with Mario Moorhead is up next on News Channel 8. Stay with us. Let's take a look at your Caribbean report for tonight. In your Caribbean report tonight, we start in Jamaica, and the Caribbean is expected to benefit significantly from the financing provided by the Inter-American Development Bank following a recent increase in the institution's funding resources, which have moved from $7 billion to $12 billion. Representatives from the Inter-American Development Bank in Jamaica, Ansel Brewster, said that the region's integration and private sector development in the Caribbean are among the areas expected to be earmarked for financing from the institution's ninth capital replenishment. Speaking last last week at the launch of the Jamaican Aid for Trade strategy, Brewster said that the struggle for economic growth has been pronounced in Jamaica and other Caribbean states within the last decade, particularly over the last 4 years. Jamaica's National Aid for Trade strategy, development by the government in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank and the United Kingdom's Department for International Development, articulates the country's trade-related priorities and is designed to attract and ensure focused access to the investment and aid resources. And an update on the two charged with kidnapping of the banker's wife in St. Kitts. 2 men are in police custody, charged with the kidnapping of Gilda Rawlins Vaughn, and 2 others are remanded at Her Majesty's Prison for illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. Assistant Commissioner of Police with responsibility to the crime, Ian Quayle, told reporters yesterday afternoon that Clayton Yellow Laws of Nevis Street, Basitri, and Yanana Skyjuice Walters of Parsons Village were recently charged with the kidnapping of Rawlins Vaughn. It has also come to light that the 2 men who were subdued and arrested in the unoccupied house with which Rawlins Vaughn was held captive were charged with possession of firearms and ammunition and were remanded to prison and also will be charged in connection with the kidnapping incident. Quayle went on to say that the investigation is still ongoing and another suspect is being sought. And finally, in Barbados, a grieving father yesterday implored hundreds of young people at the Mount of Praise Holiness Church to find a spiritual base for their lives to enable them to cope when facing with difficulties. Pastor Joseph Bryan, who lost his son, Defense Force able seaman Adrian Greenditch, allegedly to suicide last week, said that during the funeral, "We can't do anything for Adrian now but put him in the grave, but we can do so much for so many other young men and women who might have the same thing in their minds and in their hearts." Bryan lives in the United States and was driving along the highway on the morning that he received the tragic news of his son's death. And that's the Caribbean Report for tonight. And a St. Croix radio station is holding a huge LEAC fundraiser this weekend. News Channel 8's Wes Small has more.
Thank you very much, Jerome. I'm with the beloved Mario Moorhead, and this is the fairgrounds, the LEAC protest grounds, whatever you want to have it, for Reef Broadcasting. And they have a coalition of radio stations from here all the way down to St. Kitts, of course, under Mr. Pemberton, and he's busy right now under the tent. Mario, I have to tell you something. First of all, as usual, an exquisite, lovely job for D. Hamilton Jackson Day. The stories historically, that goes without saying. I want to big you up for that. But boy, I tell you, they're coming from all over. I'm sure they're coming from the States and down Island as well, and St. Thomas. Please, it's going to happen on Saturday, and I understand that y'all have transportation coming from all over and a lot of food sales here.
Yeah.
Mario, what is it all about?
It's about Reef Broadcasting.
Yes, sir.
This is the station that happens to be the medium of the movement of truth in these Virgin Islands, as you very well know.
Yes.
Because you are one of the vanguards in this movement, and you know that freedom of expression is very much at risk here. And we are trying very much to stay alive, because Reef Broadcasting represents the people and gives the people the voice that they need and must have.
Well, I tell you, Mario, the LEAC is a deadly entity that's on us all. We've lost a lot of businesses and residents leaving the territory in droves. Your show, as well as Jamila's show and Rafi with his sports, and then all over the board, you guys are getting high ratings, if I would. A lot of people are listening, obviously, because this place is going to be packed, and this is going to help to keep you guys afloat, to get free speech continuing in the territory. Can you tell us just some of the events that people will be partaking this weekend here?
Well, it'll be a little of everything here, Mr. West, the best, you know that. We'll have all the Crucian old-time entertainment, from foot races, egg and spoon races, to a little bit of hot Mali. We'll have board games. We have a little everything. Even a little tug of war we could have between the different stations. But it's just simply a really fun time to raise funds. It's essential for us. You know, the government won't pay us. They owe us and won't pay us. It's very, very strenuous on us. And we need all the help we can get, and we have a large listenership. Thank God.
Yes, you do.
And this here is what's keeping us afloat. And so listeners are coming from all the way in the States to come and share with us here this Saturday as we raise funds to keep us going into 2012.
What time does this big, gigantic protest, protest, party, convention, when time does it start?
The fundraiser starts at 11 a.m. Saturday, and it goes probably until dark, because we have the ship leaving at Gallows Bay at 6 o'clock, taking people back to St. Thomas, St. John, and to Tartola.
Right.
And so it is a daytime family activity, but there'll be an after party for the young people afterwards at the penthouse rooftop. And so we invite everybody to come out, and it'll be an all-day affair because we need the money.
Well, I want to thank my beloved Mario Moorhead, and this is the starting line for a lot of the races that day. Bring the whole family. For more information, please don't hesitate to call 719-1620, just like the call letters, 719-1620. They'll be glad to accommodate you. There's the stage for all the acts. That's the hotel, this book. Rooftops upstairs. That's going to be jamming with the best DJs, club DJs playing. A food sale. Make no mistake, this is how it has to happen to fight this deadly disease that we call the LEAC at Reef Broadcasting in Castle Coakley. Hope to see you here. Power to the people. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
St. John's opportunity to step up to the plate. That's next on News Channel 8. Well, the gun buyback initiatives on St. Croix and St. Thomas were very successful. Soon it will be St. John's turn to do the right thing. Here's Melody Rames with the details.
The island of St. John will be the site of the third gun buyback program in the Virgin Islands this year. The St. John gun buyback program will pay individuals for turning in their illegal weapons. The program will be held at the building located at Oppenheimer Beach on Friday, November 11th and Saturday, November 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. both days. Acting Police Commissioner Raymond L. Hyman and St. John Deputy Police Chief Darren Foy said the program is part of the continuing effort of the department to get illegal weapons off the streets. Deputy Chief Foy said you can turn in your illegal weapons without penalty, adding that we're paying top dollar for the weapons. Individuals turning in weapons need to safely transport the guns to the site. Weapons should be placed in a bag and put into the trunk of your car. If you are unfamiliar with weapons, do not try to unload them or tamper with them in any way. There will be an amnesty on that day for persons traveling with weapons as long as they travel a direct route from their home to the drop-off point. Once you arrive at the site, an officer will take possession of your weapon and hand it over to a firearms examiner and a property officer who will inspect the weapon and determine the amount of money that will be paid for that weapon. No questions will be asked of the persons turning in the firearm. Police are encouraging residents who know of weapons in their home to turn them in at this time. Also, if residents have a weapon in their home that was previously owned by someone who is deceased or who has left the home, they should turn it in. The Cash for Guns was made possible by an anonymous St. Thomas donor who contacted Senator Sean Michael Malone. The Virgin Islands Foundation is acting as third-party fiduciary for the gun buyback fund. Deputy Police Chief Foy said, I am asking all St. John residents to participate in this program, get some extra cash, and rid St. John of all the deadly weapons. He said, this is your opportunity to make a difference.